Greatest common factor, GCF. Let's say I have three numbers, 50, 30, and 5. I would like to find the greatest common factors. So the way we do this is pretty simple. I prefer not to use a calculator and then do it step by step. The more steps you show, the easiest it is to understand the GCF. So for 50, I will break that down to 5 times 10. And then for 30, I will do a 3 times 10. And then for 5, you cannot break it down. I will just use a 5. And then I want to break this one more time. 5, you can't break it anymore. 10, I can do a 5 times 2, right? 3 is 3. 10, I can do a 5 times 2. And then a 5. And then what do we see right here? So the first number, 5, I see a 552. So I can see that the 50, the 30, and the 5, they all share a common factor. Just one of them. They all share a common factor. So let's draw a description. We say each number. So each number shares the greatest common factor. Greatest. You are looking for the biggest factor. Greatest common factor, 5. So therefore, the greatest common factor is equals to 5. Can we find more than one greatest common factor? There is one greatest common factor, but sometimes when you have a few more numbers and then you break down the numbers, it is easier to see that there is another common factor. So what do I mean by that? Let's do another example. So how about we try a 15, a 30, a 45, and then a 75. How's that? The 15, I will just do a 3 times 5. The 30, I will do a 5 times 6. And then the 45, I will do a 5 times 9. The 75, I will do a 5 times 15. And then I will break this down one more time. I can see that the 3 and 5, you can't break it anymore. 3 times 5. The 5 times 6, the 6 we can. The 6 we can do a 3 times 2 times, not 3.2. And then the 5, no. And then the 9, 3 times 3. Oh, you know what? I should not use a decimal. 3 times 3. 3 times 3. 5 times 3 times 3 is 45, right? And then you draw a comma, 5, and then the 15 is also a 5 times 3. So what do they share in common? First of all, let me grab a highlighter. I see that each number share a factor 3. So I will just underline the 3, 3, 3, and 3. What else? I also see that each number shares a 5, right? So shares a 5. Let me switch to a different color. I will switch to pink. So 5, 5, 5, and pick anyone you like, 5. All right, so that means the description is each number share GCF 3 and 5. So each number, oh, I'm not using a highlighter. So each number shares greatest common factor. So we have 3 and 5. So what does that mean? That means my GCF is equals to 5 times 3, which is equals to 15. What do I mean by that? That means you have 15, you have 30, you have 45, you have a 75. You can just factor out a 15. So let's say I have a 15 plus a 30. Oh, this is not part of the problem. Let me just use a different color to do it. Let's pick something else. Let me just pick gray. So let's say we have a 15 times 30 plus 45 and then plus 75, right? So this one we can factor out 15. I can factor out 15 and then what is inside the parenthesis? Inside the parenthesis, 15, you factor out 15, you have a 1, right? and then 15 times 2 is equals to 30, and then 15 times 3 is equals to 45, and then 15 times 5 is equals to 75, right? And then that's the greatest common factor. So when you add them, subtract them, multiply, the biggest you can take out, so the biggest you can factor out, you have 4 numbers, the biggest you can factor out is a 15. So that's what do I mean by GCF. Can you always find a GCF? The answer is no. So let's say we have another example. So that example, I'm going to draw a line first. So let's say we have a 9, we have a 16, we have a 24. So as always, we break down the numbers. With a little bit of practice, you can just do the breakdown in one step. So for example, the 9, you can do a 3 times 3. And then the 16, you can do a 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then the 24, you can do a 24 is 8 times 3, right? The 8, you can do a 2, 2, 2, and then times 3. Well, do they share any factor in common? You can say 2. Do they share 2 in common? I don't think so. There is no 2 in here. Do they share 3 in common? You have a 3, you have a 3, but there is no 3 in there. So that means they do not share any factor in common. So I'm going to use draw a description. So they do not share any factors in common. So they do not share any common factors. So what does that mean? That means the GCF, that means the greatest common factor is just equals to 1. But you might ask me, hey, how do they get the 1? Well, here is how. So allow me to just duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate. So we duplicate that, or we duplicate those as well. Is there another way to, can I just try one more time? How about this duplicate? Yep. And then I am going to give myself a little bit of space, and then a little bit of space in there. So where is the 1? The 1 is here. So let me do the 1. Let me do the 1. So the 1 is, you can also multiply by 1. So you can also multiply by 1 because you have a number, you multiply by 1, that doesn't change the number. So when there is no common factor, if we will just bring the 1 in and just say the greatest common factor is equals to 1. Alright, so that is the end of this video. If you like the way I explain GCF, thumbs up for this video, subscribe to my channel for more contents like that. I will see you all in the next one. Signing out.